Okay, yeah, this is it. But I gotta make sure this is the one without the commentary.
Yeah.
Looks good. I think this is it. Yeah, then we get the famous move 78.
Yeah, I do not remember any specific moves. This is game 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely do not remember any moves.
I mean, game move 78 is one of the most famous moves in Go history now, but
Ah,
I don't know a lot about it either.
yeah.
Okay, so this will be game 4. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm live. So
Okay,
yeah, I'm ready
just
whenever
one
you
second.
are.
Let me make sure my collaboration's set up good, which it is not, of course. Uh, Webcam, video capture, unlock, transform. Okay, and then webcam border. Transform. Yeah, I should have had all this set up, but I really wanted to get food.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I was
I see
hungry.
your judging eyes. How dare you?
All right. How dare you, CL Smith? How dare you?
Yeah, that was my roommate. If you couldn't tell.
All right. It looks like I'm good to go. Are you good to go?
I believe so.
All right. So I'm about to transition us in. All right. Hello, everyone. I am here with CL Smith 15, chess and Go streamer. And today we're going to be going over Sedol versus AlphaGo game 4. So, CL, you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm CL Smith 15. I've been streaming chess for I guess about 6 months now, and for the past 2 or 3 months, I've also been streaming Go. So I'm trying to learn the game. It's been a lot of fun. I'm like a 14Q on OGS right now, so these game reviews of high level games are helpful for me to try to boost that up as I'm trying to get to single digit Q. Because a lot of the concepts are over my head if I don't have help of someone like Clossius. So that's where I'm at.
All right, and for those of you on CL Smith's stream, I am Clossius. I am a Go instructor, and I have been collabing with chess players and teaching them Go, and they've been teaching me chess. So that's kind of how CL Smith and I met. And yeah, today we're kind of just going over pro review. I need to send you the link, by the way.
Yeah.
We're going over AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol. This will be game 4, and we're going to be doing it in a way that hopefully will be understandable for beginners and Q players. All right, I'm gonna send it to you on Discord.
Could you send it maybe on OGS? I think
yeah,
that would be easiest for me.
no worries.
I close out of like everything when I'm streaming because of my computer.
Yeah,
so.
it's probably smart.
Yeah. We've got a raid. Thank you, John Cullen, for raiding with a party of 4.
Ooh,
so
welcome.
you guys just missed our intro, but we're going to be reviewing AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol game 4.
Yep. This is AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol. This is game 4. Going to be a game that'll go down and Go history for probably forever. It's a very, very, very famous game now. So, while you're getting set up, I'm going to go ahead and go into a little bit of backstory. So, AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol, we talked about last time when we were going over game 2 about how much of an impact this was and how unexpected this stuff was at this time. So, at this time, AIs were nothing. They were not strong at all. No one thought an AI would ever beat a professional player, much less a top professional player like Lee Sedol. And all of a sudden, Google releases an AI that came about and beat a pro 5-0. And they're like, okay, let's see how he does against Lee Sedol. And everyone's like, yeah, but that pro's weak. Lee Sedol is like the champion of the world, blah, blah, blah. He's going to beat it 5-0. And Lee Sedol thought he was going to beat it 5-0. He brought his wife. They're on their honeymoon. He was just thinking of this sort of as a mini vacation, like a celebration match. And now it's game 4 and he's down 0-3. He has 0 wins and 3 losses. He's already lost the best of 5 series. And he's worried that he's going to go 0-5 and just represent humanity and just fail, right? He's just going to make humanity just fail against the computers. And there's so much pressure on him. Like yesterday, like the game 3 was actually his and his wife's anniversary. And I think there's not a lot of details about that, but I think it wasn't a very great anniversary for him. He was very stressed. His wife was worried about him. He wasn't sleeping well. He felt the pressure of the world, literally the world, and he was failing them. And he was so stressed beyond belief at this time. So he's going into game 4, trying everything. They've been researching maybe that AIs are bad with codes. Maybe there's a glitch somewhere, and they're trying to find anything, any weakness they can find in this AI. They're trying to find it, and he's going in, and he's not very optimistic at this point, but he's going to keep trying. I mean, he's the world champion. He's got to finish 2 more games, and he's just so desperate for a win at this point. It's just such a huge deal for him. And yeah, now we get into game 4, one of the most historic matches in Go history. All right, you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right, so in this one, Lee Sedol is white, AlphaGo is black. Okay, and the Comey is 7.5 points. All right, so he's playing quite normal, star, then 3-4-3-4, and AlphaGo is going high approach. So funny enough, I think modern theory or modern AIs would prefer low approach. It's interesting because before the AI, high approach is the normal thing to do, because everyone did it. The low approach is like, it's just too complicated, unnecessary. High is easier to use. It's just as good. Let's just go high. And there's all kinds of variations that we knew about the high approach. But the AI ended up saying that this Joseki is pretty much too easy for white in the corner, or basically settling in this corner is just so easy that 80 or 90% of the time, if they high approach, you can just play this Joseki. You don't have to worry about the other hundreds or thousands of Josekis out there. You can just play this simple Joseki, and it's pretty easy, and it's good for you, and it's fine. And because that's so simple and so easy to use, that it's actually considered more common now to go low, because that way your opponent doesn't have such an easy response, because in Go, you never want it to be easy for your opponent. Yeah. So this is actually something a little bit interesting, is that the high was common, and now it's completely reversed. Now high is uncommon and low is common, simply because of that under attach being just so good, so easy to use in like every situation.
Gotcha.
All right, and we're doing this again. So this is a little bit different than the game 2. So I mentioned how you can exchange here to see what you want to do. So if you respond here and then play 3-space jump, and then if your opponent approaches, you can go here. But there's also the chance you might go here. So if you go Tiger's Mouth, we do this, we want to see if the stone's here or here. Because if it's here, it kind of gives us like a little bit of weakness in here, or Aji is what it's called, some Aji or weakness in here. And so we would prefer the 4 stone to be 2 spaces away instead of 1 space away.
Gotcha.
So we prefer it to be here. So this approach before fixing is kind of like a question. Are you going to play here? If so, then I can play Tiger's Mouth, and you're 2 spaces away. Are you going to play a large Knight's move? If so, then I'll disconnect, and you're 2 spaces away. And it's just a little bit easier on black, right? Your opponent's a little bit further away. You just have a little bit more comfortable base. It's a very subtle thing, but this idea was pretty common back then. And if I recall correctly, this AlphaGo was started out by studying human games, then it played itself like millions of times or something like that. So yeah, this one is you can kind of feel that this is modeled after human play, because after the AI went through another update after this series, the AI Master or AlphaGo Master, I think, it trained on just itself, and this variation kind of disappeared.
Gotcha.
So this one is actually probably more of a human thing than an AI thing, and AI is just like, copying humans from back then.
Right.
So this is kind of interesting that you see that AlphaGo's playing this, and this was a common thing that humans did, and then after it stopped training with humans, it came up with all kinds of new stuff. So this is kind of what this is just reflection of humans. So this is actually the first unorthodox move that we kind of see in this game. Sedol, instead of playing, so back then it was common to do this, but as we mentioned last time, AlphaGo likes this peep and then Tanuki, or doing whatever. And the exchange 2 for 3 gives white a couple more points in the corner, but it makes black's shape a little bit light, so it's easy to play away, and it's hard to attack this shape right here in the bottom right corner. So with the exchange of 2 and 3, that the AI kind of came out and gave 2 and kind of shocked the world that you would do this. Now Sedol knows this, and now I guess he's trying to come up with a counter to not let the AI do what the AI wants, right? So this is kind of, I guess, this move came about. I think personally, this one's easy to use if you are worried about the peep, simply because if he exchanges now you get even more points. So that's Makes why sense. I always say just go 2 space against the Tiger's Mouth, 1 space against the connection. But Sedol doesn't want AlphaGo to have that peep at all. So Sedol wants to keep the maximum pressure. He's really aggressive. Korean style is very, very aggressive. Don't let your opponent have anything that they want comfortably. Make them fight for it and that kind of stuff, that kind of mentality. So it kind of is understandable why he's going right here, to make these 3 stones not be able to settle so easily, but also still not getting surrounded in the corner, as per Joseki. So yeah, this one you can already see he's trying to apply some pressure, and then AlphaGo settles because F3 is where it is, so we're able to make a base pretty easily. And now Sedol goes for another open corner, so it's pretty straightforward so far. The only strange move we've seen is actually from Sedol's side, which is probably interesting since AlphaGo's been coming up with all the new moves.
Yeah.
But this is probably, I mean, I don't know for sure because I haven't talked to him, but this is probably a counter to AlphaGo's new ideas and stuff. And they're trying to like go over different variations and stuff. I think he stays up really, really late going over with all the top pros, trying to find a weakness in AlphaGo's strategy and stuff, going over all the games and whatnot. And this is probably one of the counters they came up with to try and just make it a little bit more uncomfortable, so maybe you can attack something later.
I'm sure that helped his stress level, staying up all night reviewing Go games.
totally, I'm sure. But that was actually quite common for pros, like in a title match or something, or in a best of something series. They'll stay up like all night with other top professionals and analyze their opponent's games and find the weaknesses of their opponent. So yeah, I'm sure it's like not great for stress levels, but it's something he's already used to and already been doing against other top pros. It's just trying to find a weakness of someone with no emotion and no fear versus trying to find a weakness of a human player. It's a little bit different and probably not as fun. I would have been surprised if they had like some computer scientist pro players in there. Like, okay, how does artificial intelligence work? So we can find a weakness of this, dissect how this AI is thinking, and finding some weaknesses. So now we actually see some very active play by Sedol. So 2 space highs, again, quite common. That's not that unheard of. We're doing low approach. So this one is, again, this is also a very common move. You can even play 1 space away from it. This is a quite common Joseki if you really want to get to the left side. The idea behind it is to sacrifice the A stone in order to get to the B side. And the reason the B side might be interesting for white right now is because black has a single stoner here that doesn't have a base.
Yeah.
So it looks like Lee Sedol is trying to start a fight early on and try to get the control of the game, get control of the flow, and start a fight, like, which he's really good at. Is his forte is fighting and reading and stuff. So it looks like he's trying to get at that. So this one is just a little bit further away from the corner, so probably to get more emphasis against the C6 stone.
Gotcha.
So it looks strange, and I definitely wouldn't say that this is something a double digit Q should do.
Yeah.
But it's not an unheard of move. It's just this one is just to create complications in this corner to put more emphasis on the side than the corner, while leaving A as sort of some Aji, as some weakness in there. So it just makes it really complex very quickly. And Lee Sedol is trying to make the game complex and find an opening and take control of the flow or of the game against AlphaGo. This is like, this move right here is Lee Sedol's fighting spirit. Like, even just we're at move 16, you can already see his fighting spirit from just going high here and now going here. You can see he's like no holds barred. He's going out. He's gonna go out fighting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me that that's his strategy, because I'm just thinking about it from a chess perspective. Like trying to play complicated against a computer is like the worst thing you can do in chess, because they can just outcalculate you, on everything. But I guess he's just sort of banking on like his deeper understanding is maybe where he's going to have an advantage over AlphaGo.
Well, Lee Sedol, again, this is kind of his style, his strength. He's playing toward his strength, which is create stupidly complex games and just outread his opponent. Yeah. Now, there is a big difference between chess AI and Go AI in the reading sense. Go AIs can read insanely far ahead. But there's a lot more unknown in Go than in chess because the amount of potential variations.
Yeah, definitely.
So the AI has to prioritize branches, and it does that in chess too because there's just so many variations.
Yeah.
But Go is a little bit more abstract, so it's little bit harder to say that reading far ahead with an AI is not going to lead to mistakes because the AI can't see every branch. Yeah. And Lee Sedol is trying to bank on his creativity and fighting spirit and stuff to come up with something. The problem with that is AlphaGo's really, really good at reading and fighting too.
Yeah.
So if you say Lee Sedol can read 50 moves deep, and this is including the branches, so that's like hundreds of moves, right? If you say Lee Sedol is good at reading 50 moves deep and like reading hundreds and hundreds of moves, AlphaGo's reading thousands of moves accurately. And even AlphaGo even has like probably millions of moves that are stupid that it's also considering.
Right.
Just
because get thrown out.
Just because of the amount of variations there are. But AlphaGo is reading thousands of branches.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to catch the AI by surprise with just reading. Yeah. But I mean, to play at the world champion level, you have to have confidence in your skill. You have to play to your strengths, and this is him doing that. He's making the game as hard and as complex as possible, and you banking on his creativity, his genius, in order to come up with something. Mm-hmm. And you got to respect the fighting spirit, even
Absolutely,
though you're up against someone who can like outread you 10-1, even though you're the top of the world, you're getting outread 10-1. You got to respect him trying anyway, showing that fighting spirit. So it's quite interesting to see that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go on a little side note here, just with recent information. I don't know if this will be this is kind of relevant to the game specifically, but the idea that we were just talking about, pros are actually using that idea in handicap Go. So pros are like 2 stones or 3 stones weaker than an AI right now. And there's been a lot of pros that have been playing Catago at like 2 or 3 stones. Mm-hmm. And funnily enough, the best strategy is to simplify the game rather than make it complex.
Yeah, interesting.
At least that's from the pros that I've seen talk about it. That's kind of their strategies with handicap Go. But with that being said, simplifying the game when you have an advantage sounds great.
Yeah.
But simplifying the game when it's
when it's
even game where your opponent's just subtly taking a lead over and over and over,
probably not as
it's still
efficient.
It's still not sure if that's a good strategy or not. I mean, no one's won yet, or no one's got a consistent win yet. So it's hard to say that there's any one strategy making it complex or simplifying it that'll work against the AI. It's just too unknown right now. But in Handicap Go, your theory is actually correct. That making it complex is going to give the advantage to the AI, because in Handicap Go, simplifying it is actually the way to go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here we see AlphaGo just simplifying the game. Like, I mean, AlphaGo is just so good at that. AlphaGo is just so strong and has such strong shapes and strong positions. And this is actually why I recommend researching games, Japanese pro games from like the 1800s and 1900s, where they're solid, they're strong, and they have like good shapes, because that actually is kind of what the AI does. The AI is just a lot better at it.
Yeah.
But the AI has very simple shapes that work together effectively, and might even consider slow to some aspects, but you'll never see like the AI having a lot of problems. You'll see some light groups that it can kind of tanuki and deal with quite effectively, quite easily and stuff. For example, like the C6 stone, there's no one move that can kill it. So the AI is saying, okay, I'll just treat that like as a light group and play maybe some Sabaki or something like that. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to solidify my territorial position. I'm going to make my points, and I'm going to have strong shape while I do it. And that's actually a really great thing. But what the AI excels at is the AI creates such strong positions in themselves and is very, very, very good at taking advantage of even the small weaknesses that humans leave behind. And that's where the AI excels. It's not just that the AI is playing solid and strong. It's that the AI's attacks are so powerful and so accurate.
Yeah.
So if you leave weakness behind, the AI is going to capitalize on it, and you're just going to get destroyed. And you won't be able to capitalize on the AI's weaknesses because the AI is just so solid. So it's kind of this beautiful idea of you're so solid that your opponent can't do anything to you, but you're so powerful that if they leave a single opening, you're going to destroy them. And that's what makes the AI so scary.
Yeah.
But if you want to play like the AI, you can get like halfway there. 1800s and 1900s Japanese pro games. Then all you have to do is just learn how to attack. That's actually what I'm working on right now, is figuring out how to apply the attacks and stuff. So yeah, Sedol goes here. So this is actually a common move with this shape if there's a stone on both sides to settle the corner to have that base. And I'm always talking about bases for my double digit Q students. In the opening, I'm always saying, watch your bases, watch your bases.
Yeah.
Well, this is white making that base. So this corner is very strong. And so because the corner's strong, the A stone is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, because now the A stone isn't just next to an open corner that maybe you can just 3-3 or attach or whatever. Now the A stone's next to a strong position. So now it's getting a little bit scary.
Yeah, so like I would usually, I think it's been kind of instilled in me that I shouldn't play on the second line too early, but I guess you're saying in this case, like, would you almost consider the Sente against the A stone? Like, he's got to...
Yeah, so the second line playing too early is definitely a concern, because second line can be very, very slow. If you noticed, up to this point, not a single move has been on the second line.
Right.
But what is the second line good for? I always say in the Clossius approach and stuff, second line is sort of that specialty line where it's not good for openings and stuff, but it is good for stealing. So it's good for stealing eye space or sliding under a fourth line. So for example, if we play this Joseki, you see that you slide under in order to try and steal the base and steal some corner. So it's great for stealing. In this case, this is sort of preventing stealing. And we could go here, but even with this one, there's still like the Aji here and the Aji here. So there's still some Aji in there. I mean, it's fine, but there's a lot of questions and a lot of reading and stuff. So there's still complications.
Yeah.
So it's actually easier to utilize this one. And you may think, well, what about the kick right here, right? Well,
I was wondering about that.
This is also the common move, but this is calmer and also feels a little bit stronger because touching your opponent immediately makes them stronger.
Sure.
Because the response is an immediate, like Nobi or something, to gain more liberties. You took a liberty, they're going to gain liberties. So this immediately makes them stronger. So usually you touch when you want both sides to get strong. But if your plan is to attack this stone, maybe touching isn't the best idea. So it's
Makes
not
sense.
like the kick's wrong. It's just he doesn't want to give black any edge.
Right.
Additionally, there's still some Aji at the 3-3 point.
Okay.
Because if we go here and they try to Hane and you try to cut, there's still this Atari.
Yeah.
Now this is a common Joseki in the corner, so it's fine. White can handle it, but you can see how strong black is and how many variations that black has. And there's also all kinds of like other variations you can consider. Like if I cut you off, then maybe I go here and maybe threaten this cut. You never know. There's all kinds of Aji in here. There's lots of things. So white, this is why I said this one's very calm, is because B4 is a strong move, again, when you have a black stone on both sides of the star point.
Yeah.
So when you have a black stone on both sides of you, what do you need? A base. So this is a very strong base with probably the least amount of Aji. And the idea is when I'm strong with my base and no Aji, this stone is that much weaker. So it's the idea of, it's not that I'm attacking you, it's that I'm making myself stronger, so that way you have less ways to defend yourself. Gotcha. Which is also attacking, right? If you have less responses for defense, then that's an attack. Yeah. So makes sense. This is sort of this calm but high level thinking of, I'm attacking you by making myself stronger. So that's why B4 is kind of this like calm but strong move, because thanks to J3, there's no developing, and you already saw that white is putting a lot of emphasis on the left. So gaining strength here and settling your corner will now enable you to get off maybe a potential very strong attack here. So gotcha. It's more of this settling so I can do more idea. Okay. But AI is also getting points and stuff, and AI likes to treat C6 light. So if locally it feels Sente, but again, can you kill it in one move? I don't know. Maybe, but even if you could, like, what if I just sacrifice it to do something else? Yeah. Let's throw some stones on the board. Let's say I go here or something. What if I just sacrifice it and say, oh, you're gonna let me cut? No? Okay, then you have to go down. And I just push it down and then run away. And you see how small it becomes when I just sacrifice it? Yeah. So this isn't a great example of how to attack it, but that's just an example of like the idea that if you try to attack me, I might just sacrifice it. So be careful. Yeah. Like that's kind of what AlphaGo is doing, is like, yeah, you can attack me. I'm definitely weak, but I might just sacrifice it. So be careful of that. All right, and now we see the next big move. This is the open side. Fourth line wants to go down to the third line. This is a little bit far. Usually it's like a 5. Oh, no, this actually is perfect. 5 space. Yeah, this 5 space jump. Usually it's a 5 space jump. This is a 5 space jump. Interesting enough, the AI kind of likes 4 space jumps for extensions. So I've been like looking into that in recent years. Instead of an extension being a 5 space jump, making it a 4 space jump just makes it that much harder for your opponent to go in and destroy the points. But before AI, 5 space jump was the move to do. So this is quite common. Okay. So there's just some interesting questions about the differences between a 4 space jump and a 5 space jump, because before AI, we would have said, no, 4 space is too slow. If you're strong, you want to extend with the 5 space jump because your opponent just gets easily attacked. Yeah. But the AI is like, no, 4 space jump is pretty good. And now we're like, well, the AI says it. We have to think about it. Yeah, AI is pretty good. AI is decently good at this game. So there's that idea. All right, so now we're actually going here. So this is the last big move. So, and the last open side. So now we're looking at weaknesses, and I guess AlphaGo says, now's the time. And I kind of like this. It's like following the Clossius approach. Open corners, open sides. Okay, now, like weaknesses and like biggest area and stuff. And the biggest area is probably like the bottom left. So, or the top side. So now it's like this question of, do you want to deal with the bottom left or do you want to build the top? And you're like, yeah, well, I guess I'll go to the very small C6 stone and do something there. So this is actually kind of a clever combination, where if you just block and I go here, You can see that little combination of shape here.
Yeah, it's
You try to cut, and I just get out very quickly. It's a very nice little combination. It's a sort of this I guess the squeeze against this corner shape is that you're strong, so I can't do anything on the inside, but I can threaten from the outside and use those stones and those forcing moves to gain strength on the outside, so I can get out very quickly with something like this or something. Right. So it's this idea of you're already strong, so there's no harm in making you stronger.
okay. Yeah,
So
I've never thought about that.
I'm gonna give you more strength so I can fix my weaknesses on the outside. But of course, Lee Sedol is not so passive.
He's gonna fight.
Yeah, I mean he's strong in this area. Why wouldn't he? Why would he not fight? He's spent the moves at C10 and C13 and B4 to gain strength on this side, so he could fight in this area. So
Yeah.
of course he's gonna fight in this area. There's no question that he's not gonna play just passive and let his opponent do what he wants. He's not that kind of player.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now we see black, and now we get into the first like fight of the game, where black's going to start running away very lightly, and this is why I said that AlphaGo is treating this stone lightly. You see, it's playing a large knights move instead of just 1-point jump or something slow like a diagonal, something that's very solid and connected. No, it's not fast enough because white is so strong in this area. White spent like 3 moves over black in this area, so white needs to play lightly, not heavily. So we apply this sort of idea of sabaki, which 2 space jumps are very common with sabaki. This one's actually interesting. I don't think I would expect this one. This one is just taking away all the problems and make yourself super, super strong. So it's probably along the same idea as B4, is that because you're weak here or whatever, if I gain strength, you get weaker. I'm pretty sure it's probably along those same lines, but it's interesting timing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like if that move had been good, that maybe AlphaGo wouldn't have allowed it because it's just such an obvious move.
Well,
I mean, that's not really how AIs think, but like that would be how like I would approach it. I think if I were playing a player who I knew was much stronger than me and they let me do that, I would be like, well, there's probably a reason that they're okay with me doing that.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think there's a couple of things wrong with it though. Yeah. One, you can't say that your opponent knows more than you.
Okay.
You can't beat a player if you assume they know more than you. You have to trust your reading and trust yourself and have that overconfidence that you know as much as they do, and your plan's going to be better because that's how you're going to win. You can't beat a really strong, talented genius if you think that their moves are just going to be better than yours. So you have to like trust your own judgment. If you said locally it's better for you to respond and they ignored, you have to follow through with your own idea.
Yeah,
because you have to trust yourself. You can't just you can't really assume that you are just wrong and you should go with they play. That's how you end up following your opponent. Yeah, and that'll lead to some traps. Now the second concern isn't the fact that there's nothing there. It's that maybe activating it now might kill C6 or might damage C6 in some strong way. So the AI wanted to support C6 a little bit and then come back to it. So you also have to consider the option that maybe there's nothing there right now, but after an exchange, maybe there is something there. And so it's not that there's nothing there. We're just leaving it for later and working on our timing.
Right.
And Lee Sedol would say, okay, well, I'm not going to let you get that timing. I'm just going to prevent it now. So there's always that possibility that maybe they're just looking at such a high level that we just can't really follow it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that the AI didn't say there was anything there and Lee Sedol just made a mistake because this is
I'm not trying to make that claim. I'm just saying like that's often how I would tend to view things.
Yeah. So this one, I want to say it's the same meaning as B4, is that probably fixing to attack. For me, it's just a little awkward timing. So I don't quite understand it fully without being a pro and stuff. So for me, it's a little awkward timing, but we'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how the game proceeds, because I really want to do something over here, like here or here, to support my 2 stones and also keep up the pressure. And then you see immediately black plays, and now this stone is outnumbered and has less liberties, and you're also starting to worry about your base on the left. So for me, it feels like black's much stronger now because black can defend while attacking your weak group.
Yeah.
So I personally would think this is a good exchange for black. Like if I didn't know this was Lee Sedol, I would say this move's a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels so slow. But Lee Sedol's Lee Sedol. So yeah, now we see a textbook shape. 2 stones against 2 stones like this.
Yeah.
We get the Hane head of 2. This is a very textbook shape, which immediately leads to a double Hane because these 2 stones have bad liberties thanks to the Hane head of 2. So it's a bit of a liberty problem. So you're able to do this sort of double Hane shape, even with the cutting points, because of the lack of liberties on the inside. So it's this great shape for getting around your opponent, and your opponent kind of has a lot of liberty problems to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a common shape that if you have 2 versus 2 like this, getting the Hane and double Hane is very powerful.
Yeah, I tend to shy away from it, and then better players are like, no, you should do the double Hane.
Yeah, you're gonna have to learn it.
Yeah.
This is kind of a single digit Q shape rather than a double digit Q shape, so I understand your worries. But at single digit Q, you're gonna have to learn this shape. It's one of the most powerful Q shapes that you can play.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you and I know that now. So it's very interesting that Lee Sedol let this happen. Like, to me, this looks really good for black. And why black's not even bothering to fix. Like, there's this cut right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, I would be worried about this. For me, I wouldn't have fixed here. I would have fixed like maybe here or here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe here. Just fix the cut somehow, right? Yeah, I'm on the outside. I've gotten out, and I didn't really lose much for it. White got this, but I got the corner enclosure on the top. I don't know. It feels fine to me.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with this. But AlphaGo's like, no, I'm good. And now it's like, do you still want to cut? The AlphaGo bot said that cut doesn't work. Do you still want to cut?
Yeah.
It looks like Lee Sedol read something as well, so he went down. This, again, is some sort of specialty move for eyes and bases and cutting points, something that I probably can't explain properly. But it's second line, so we have to assume that there's some special meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And there's, I'm assuming there's something that I just don't know. Because I feel like if I go here and then here, and then, of course, you have, as black, you have to start making your eyes now, so you start going here. And probably there's some liberty problem in white's position.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, since white played B10 and then black immediately fixed this cut, like, it certainly seems like those things are related.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, maybe there's something here. I don't know. But then I just go here and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's here. There's a lot of Aji. That's true. But I don't know the order to use it.
Yeah.
And there's also like Aji right here. But I can't tell you what to do. I'm not strong enough.
Yeah.
there's probably something there. This is a second line move. There's probably something. But okay, now we fixed. See, this is where you have to like assume that the pros know what they're doing, because I don't know. That cutting point looks big to me, and then your opponent played on the second, and then Lisa played on the second line. I'm like, there's something I'm missing. This is not basics. This is not fixing your cuts. This is playing on the second line. There's something here.
Yeah.
Gotta be, right? There's something I'm just not strong enough to see. All right, so now we play Hane here, and this cutting point doesn't work because it's a ladder. Yeah, there's no cutting point there, so we're no big deal. And because they are a second line move, white has very good eye shape.
Yeah.
Like, the eye shape here is very good. So white is bending around, trying to cut black off and keep black unsettled in the center. And again, this is kind of white's plan from the start, was to gain strength so he could do something to this group. So by keeping black unsettled, white is still looking for a chance to gain the upper hand of the fight and use that to gain a lead and then probably run with it. The board, on the whole board, the game's probably still really close. So it's more of like a fight for control of the game rather than control of getting more points and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look, both players have gotten like to the big moves and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure White's aiming at pressuring the A group with the strength, and also there's some Aji in the B side. And this is because when you play this large extension down here, let me use squares actually. When you play this large extension down here with this shape, and there's a stone on your left, usually you want a 1 point jump.
Okay.
So because there's such strength in that corner and there's no 1 point jump, you have to take note of the potential Aji at B. I mean, it's not impossible to deal with, clearly, because they're Tanuking it. I mean, I could probably deal with it in some way too. But if White's clever, which Lee Sedol usually is,
Yeah.
we can sort of combine the weakness in the B area with the weak group or unsettledness of the A group in order to gain control of the center somehow, and then maybe take a lead doing that. So that's probably what the Hane is all about, is just trying to keep A group unsettled and looking for a chance to fight and take control of the flow of the game. The game's at this point, the game's probably still really close.
Yeah. Now, even though you say A is unsettled, I mean, it, like, just visually to me, it looks like if Black has to find eyes in the center, he can. So
yes, it's hard to attack it directly.
Mm-hmm.
The pros are really good at attacking these groups without a base, and this is why I always say make a base, because bases are important. The stronger you are, the easier it is for you to take advantage of like floating groups and cutting points and just little weaknesses and stuff. So the A group is out in the center and it has many directions to go, but White has all kinds of forcing moves against it because you technically don't have any eyes yet.
Okay.
You have no eye space, you have no eyes, and you have no connections immediately.
So basically, White could just theoretically could put pressure on this group and, you know,
yeah. So
get free stones.
If I place a stone right here and then start surrounding you, now does it look weak?
Yeah, it looks worse than it did.
Yeah, and now you have to start making a base, and if you just start making the eyes, and I just let you look at the center.
Yeah.
If I just let you make eyes, and you just make eyes, you know, according to basics and stuff, this sort of thinking is, yeah, you live, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Control of the game, and that's what White wants, is this control of the board and control of the flow. So, yeah, it's not going to die. It could very easily live, but it's not just about living. It's about living in a way that doesn't give your opponent complete control of the game.
Yeah.
So you have to. So at the higher levels, it's less about killing and more about forcing moves and gaining control of the flow.
Yeah.
All right, so we see here, this one, there is cutting point right here, but there's also a cutting point right here. So
yeah,
something to think about. Okay, it's a Nobi. Are we going to walk in on top? Ooh. This is Lee Sedol being Lee Sedol. Okay, so I think Black, like these moves make me feel that Black has a small advantage. The reason is Black does have weakness. There's a cutting point at A, there's a peep at B, and you can kind of reduce a little bit and get some Aji at C. Not impossible to deal with, but there's some weakness there too. But with that being said, if you can handle those, Black has control of the center. And remember, I just showed you White having control of the center, and that looks really good.
Yeah.
Well, now
the picture's changed a bit.
Black defended in a way that got control of the center.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was me, I would play Tiger's Mouth here. This is what I would do. I would get a little bit stronger, control the center, blah, blah, blah. And then probably my opponent would break into the top while trying to cut me off, and it'd be a big fight, right?
Yeah.
AlphaGo's kind of like, if you do that, then I can do this. And this is kind of like good shape and stuff. And yeah, I have cutting points, but I also have thickness in the center, more or less. And I'm just going to be able to live while you're living. And you just can't attack me very well. I guess that's what Black's saying. So it's interesting. This is sort of an interesting move. It's like, it doesn't feel as solid as AlphaGo usually is. But at the same time, can you really punish it?
Yeah.
So what I would expect at this point is white has to do something to this weakness, because if white does nothing, black's going to be a little bit better off, because black got these stones in the center and white stones were on the inside. So like the stones here. So remember, we did that to gain strength here. And because we gained strength, black was able to make this exchange on the left to get on the outside moves. So black has a little bit better shape on the left. And we got F4 in exchange. So if we do nothing with F4, then this is, of course, going to be good for black. So we have to activate F4 somehow. We have to activate the strength here to take advantage of something. Yeah. Otherwise, it was a bad exchange. Okay. So it just feels like white's still looking for the chance. And it's like, when's white going to activate this stuff? White has played all this like preparation and stuff and all this stuff on the left. And black's just kind of handled it. And it never seemed like white was able to activate the attack. At least from my amateur eyes. That's what I'm just saying, is it looks like white tried something and it just never activated.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so now white's going on top. Now again, this is an unconventional move, but with the realization that white still hasn't activated stuff and black's feeling a little bit better off, Lee Sedol doesn't like to let your opponent have an easy time of it. Yeah. So Lee Sedol goes and makes the game even more complicated. So yeah, there's weakness at A, there's weakness at B. Let's create another problem at C, and then create 3 or 4 problems on the board and see who can handle and balance all the problems simultaneously. Lee Sedol is really well known for this, creating a stupid complex game. Yeah. It's like, 2 weaknesses isn't complicated enough. Let's create 3 or 4. And then we'll prioritize and stuff and go from there. The problem is AlphaGo's really good at prioritization. So having multiple weaknesses isn't going to really hurt AlphaGo.
Not going to phase it much.
In my opinion, yeah. In my opinion, I think AlphaGo's probably better than Lee Sedol at handling multiple problems.
Yeah.
But Lee Sedol is much better than AlphaGo at creating problems.
Yeah.
Creating difficult positions and stuff. So if it was a human opponent, this would actually be very cool and very exciting. But because it's artificial intelligence, it's like, are you sure this is going to trick them? This is why it's so hard to play an AI and stuff. Yeah, against the human, making it complex, it's very easy for them to lose track of it. When an AI is never going to get confused.
Yeah.
So, Lee Sedol's style is kind of like the worst option that a human could choose for against artificial intelligence, because it's like stupid strong against humans, but artificial intelligence has no fear, has no emotion. It's just cold calculating.
You're not going to psych it out.
Maybe this confusion style isn't the best approach. So it's like AlphaGo's like the perfect opponent to counter Lee Sedol. And you could see that Lee Sedol isn't weak. Like if someone did this to you, this would be super hard to deal with. Yeah. You have all these weaknesses and all these things. You have to balance it. I mean, Lee Sedol's really good at that. So he's a strong player. Probably the wrong opponent. So we create this situation on top because black definitely has more than white. The top side is definitely bigger than the right side, and we're next biggest area, and create some complications. And when a lot of my students ask me how to invade and stuff, and usually look at the third line and look for eye space, like follow-ups that you can do to get some eye space. Mm-hmm. But another option is some sort of touching moves, like touching here, or shoulder hit. Mm-hmm. Those are other options for invasions, just a little bit more complex. So that's kind of what this is. This is saying I want to be on this side too, and destroy the potential here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to use a touching move, so it's not simple for you.
Yeah, I would be afraid to touch.
Well, touching's a little bit high level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend you touch. If you wanted to invade for a 14Q, I would say go here. Yeah. The follow-ups are simpler and easier. But they're also simpler and easier for your opponent. So if you want to confuse your opponent and create a complex game, you go here. This is if you have the confidence to outread your opponent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the idea. So here we go here, and then just touch Hane is kind of common, and then Nobi. So it's just surrounding and gaining liberties. Second line to steal the base while blocking your own base. Pretty solid move. Mm-hmm. Because now you have your base in the corner, you're peeping their base. Pretty straightforward. And of course, another touch. Got to make it complicated.
Yeah.
And this is actually quite interesting because the more complicated you make it in this area, the more this weakness probably is creeping up on you. So you have to keep an eye on that. It's just more stuff to keep an eye on. And Black's just playing so solid. Look at this. Just Nobi. I'm not gonna Hane and double Hane and no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna Nobi. I'm gonna Nobi, unsettle you, stay strong. You'll stay weak. I'm good. And then some Sabaki. And this is because it's a large Knights move again.
Mm-hmm.
Sabaki. It's the same tactic that Black used on the left. Get out very lightly. If you try to cut me off, I might be able to just sacrifice something and get out.
And I guess your point about the Aji at G12 is like now the white stones are sort of influencing that area. Like you could tie those weaknesses together.
Like imagine if we just run away. Oh, not here. Imagine we just play some 1-point jumps to run away, like textbook runaway shapes.
Yeah.
You can see this cut is just getting more and more dangerous.
Yeah.
So while you run and while Black's trying to deal with this area, this cut might activate. So you have to like balance the cut Aji along with not playing a slack move against their deep invasion.
Yeah.
So it's complicated.
Definitely.
It's complicated. Oh, well, this is
so he's
cool.
returning the favor.
This one actually is really cool because this is what we call a leaning attack. We lean on something else to make both sides strong. So remember, a shoulder hit is kind of like a touching move, and both sides get strong. So I'm going to make you stronger on the right side here to gain strength or thickness to attack your top position.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, if you draw the line of influence, white's on the line of influence, white's getting out very nicely. But as soon as we play this stone, now we have this sort of triangle combination. Now we're very deep behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Very, very deep behind enemy lines. And it's this cool little reverse Uno card or something of, oh, you think you're out, reverse. No, you're way behind enemy lines.
You're deeper than you thought you were.
Yeah, you're so much deeper behind enemy lines than you thought you were.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this in Sente because if you just jump, I'm going to destroy your right side position and attack your group.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just ignore this very easily. So it's this fantastic timing right here. Like to me, this is a move that says, "Oh, of course this is the right move." After I see it, but coming
very
up with
difficult
this
to
game,
find. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a difficult move to find. That's why to me this move looks so cool. It's like it's so powerful. It just takes complete control of the center and sort of Sente with this leaning attack strategy. And now it's like, what do you do as whites? Because now Black was like, oh yeah, I have some cutting point, but forget that. No, let's just put you very deep behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
So white, of course, tries to resist. If you just play defensively, that's too easy for Black. Just complete control of the board now.
Yeah.
And maybe I just attack you here. Just anything, right? Way too passive. That's not going to happen. Ooh, Hane. Is the cutting point okay? We always have to check the cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
I jump. I guess it's okay because the cutting stone is very deep in Black's area of control. If we just draw some line against the Black stones. I mean, I guess it seems pretty okay for Black. So, I don't know. I don't think I would see the Hane very easily, but it kind of makes sense, I guess, if the cut is not good for white.
Yeah, two stones Haning 3 seems sort of like punching above their weight.
If it was 3 versus 3, this would be very powerful because of the lack of liberties.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the Hane head of 2, Hane head of 3. It's kind of the same principles. But without 1, you don't have that liberty shortage. Because you have this extra liberty right here.
Yeah.
And you don't have this Hane on the butt right here.
Mm-hmm.
So the liberties are much better for white.
Yeah.
So it's like 1 stone difference kind of makes all the difference because it's extra liberties.
Yeah.
So you don't have the forcing moves. So you don't get those unique Tsujis. Because remember, Tsujis are tactical plays because of certain reasons.
Right.
If even one of those reasons doesn't exist, then the Tsuji can just be a mistake. So it's not really the same idea of Hane headed 2, Hane headed 3 because of the extra liberty.
Yeah, it seems strange to me, like it seems like white's stronger and you're trying to surround him.
Yeah. But here we're doing the double Hane, not just because of the liberties, but because we have these stones right here, and it's kind of saying we have more control of the center, so we can fight those cuts out.
Yeah.
It's a little complex. I don't know if I'd be able to come up with this on my own, but the idea is I can deal with these cuts because I have control of the center. So I'm going to keep surrounding you. So it's a little bit higher level wave.
Gotcha.
A little bit higher level double Hane than the left.
Yeah.
Like if the left double Hane was single digit Q, this double Hane is probably like mid Dawn up.
Yeah.
Like Dawn level or pro level double Hane instead of just a single digit Q double Hane. There's no way single digit Q can come up with this one intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a common shape, but this one's a little bit more complex. This is getting very dangerous very quickly, though. I mean, just look how weak these 3 stones are getting, and the right side still doesn't have any eye space. It still needs a base.
Yeah.
So this is completely going in Black's favor. So this is very difficult for White. So we got to fight. So we activate one of the cuts, try to break through. Okay, solid. It looks like that ladder does work. No, the ladder's good for White, but whatever. Not that important. Yeah, fixing our cutting points, breaking in. Oh, we're going to activate the ladder? What? So I'm over here looking like, okay, we're getting some eye space now here. We're trying to connect to the problems here. We're trying to make all those work together. And Lee Sedol was like, no, I'm gonna make another group.
Yeah.
It's simplifying too much. I need to make it more complicated. Because complications is how I'm gonna win. That's his mindset. That's what you're kind of seeing this game is. He's not gonna take the simple route. He's gonna take the most complicated route in this game, because that's how he's gonna find his path to victory. If he's not gonna force a mistake out of his opponent if the game's too easy, too simple.
Yeah.
So he's pushing the limits of these moves in order to make the game as complex as humanly possible. That's what this stone tells me. It's just continuing his fighting spirit of let's make this game stupid complex. Okay, now he gets cut off, but he's also cutting off the right. Like, okay, now I have a weak group here. Actually, let me use triangles for this. We have a weak group here, weak group here, weak group here, weakness here. Yeah, this one is a weakness, but it's not nearly as important as the rest of the board now. So it's not exactly good, but it's still important to keep an eye on, because if those stones get cut off, that'll be 2 more weak groups. So there's weakness here. And now there's like weakness to connect right here as well, but it's hard to say who's going to get to that first. So there's only like 5 weaknesses on the board. I think it's maybe it's complicated enough for Lee Sedol. Do you think?
I would hope so. It's complicated enough for me. So
there's only like 5 problems on the board to think about, and nothing major.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we cut them off and start simplifying the game in order to make us getting strong and fixing our weaknesses is going to make them weaker. So this is a pretty straightforward defense before offense, but defend in a way that is also offense, so counterattack. It's a very strong defense right here by AlphaGo. And now we're prioritizing the right. This is actually an interesting investment. Excuse me. This is saying if you go for the top, I'm going to get the left and then reduce the top and push it upwards or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying that if you give me the right, I'll give you the top and make it even smaller. So are you sure you want to take that trade? It's more of like it's daring your opponent to take the trade right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what White's doing. It's very, very brave, but like very intimidating as well. Can you imagine like a top professional be like, "Oh, you want to take this trade? I dare you."
Yeah.
It's and then Black's just not even just not taking the trade. Like you could just take the trade and go for the kill, but saying, "I'm going to make it bigger." You want to ignore it? I'll make it bigger.
Yeah. So I mean, are the 4 white stones? I mean, they look like terrible to me. Like it. I mean, they're not dead yet? Like.
It's more like they're both trying to kill it. Like White's trying to say kill it, and I'm going to reduce and get more.
Yeah.
Black trying to say you want me to kill it, But if I kill it directly, then it'll go along with your plan. So I'm going to kill it in a bigger way, so that way you don't get more.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like this idea of they're both trying to say it's dead, but they're trying to make the value so small that it doesn't matter that they're dead. And so Black's trying to increase the value of the death. White's trying to say, I'm going to make it as small as possible, so that way the death doesn't matter. And then both are saying that it doesn't matter if White tries to live with these or not. Like if Black makes it too big and White comes back and lives with it, then all of Black's moves are pointless. Like, and it's a very bad exchange. So it's that high risk idea that, yeah, I'm going to make it bigger and just deal with any move that you play inside of here. And
So,
White's like,
so if Black plays too lightly, then the White stones will be able to live.
yeah, so the White stones are very easy to sabaki.
Mhm.
So if Black plays too lightly, then something might, like some of it might live. Not like you can't live with all of it at this point. It's definitely sabaki at this point. But if you play too loose, then maybe White can come up with a way to do something in there. But if you play just for the kill, White's going to reduce it and make it too small.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's a very, very fine line, a fine balance. And so White's going along with that strategy. Okay, you want to give me the right? Then I'm going to make this. I'm going to threaten to activate the stones. You have to kill those stones. And neither one wants to go for the kill directly. You want to make it bigger and abstract, right?
Right.
So White's like, oh, no, you need kill those stones so I can reduce this position and make mine bigger. And so now we see Black starting to back off a little bit because Black has to get something, right? Black gave up this area. Black has to get something here. But you can see that Black's is a little bit bigger, so I still think Black has an advantage. But White is coming up with some very, very scary and interesting scenarios.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in Black's favor, but it's stupid complex, right? But this is kind of all pro games, and you can just see that Black AlphaGo is kind of just dealing with it, making it harder and harder and harder. So White was saying, okay, you want to kill those stones? Then kill them. I'll take the right. And then Black kind of went for this like solid attack. And then White's like takes this gamble and says, I dare you. And Black accepted the dare and made it even bigger.
Yeah.
Like this is like some major punches being thrown here, like some major ideas and whatnot. And AlphaGo's just rising to the challenge that Lee Sedol's providing and just conquering it. So up to this point, you saw Lee Sedol's fighting spirit all over the place, like the left side, and you saw that he had all this set up to like do this engagement, and AlphaGo just kind of like dealt with it, and he couldn't activate it. So now Lee Sedol sets up this other challenge over here, in response to Black's very powerful shoulder hit here. And set up another challenge and said, okay, and then Black's just countering it. Black's rising to the challenge and dealing with it. And you can see that every challenge that Lee Sedol brings up and sticks to and tries to put in AlphaGo's face, AlphaGo's just rising to that challenge and conquering it, and doing it very, very effectively. And so, yep.
I need to take a quick break, like 1 minute. If you want to like keep showing some moves, feel free, but I'll be back in 60 seconds.
No worries. And while we're here, does anyone, I don't have a CL Smith's chat up, but does anyone in chat have any questions? Maybe I can elaborate on something? Bathroom break. Maybe the match situation is also relevant. Since Lee has lost the match at this point, he might have been more adventurous than normal. Yeah, SLW, I think that is completely accurate. You can see White is trying to come up with something, like some grandiose idea to conquer this challenge that is AlphaGo. Like if you compare it to the earlier games, he was complex, but White was kind of just easily countering them. So this is, I feel like this game is him taking it to the next level and saying, I'm going to make this even more complex. I want to take this even further, pushing my limits. to try and come up with a way to beat you. And white and black is just countering it. But you can it's kind of insane how much fighting spirit is coming out of white's moves. It's really impressive. And it's also impressive how AlphaGo is rising to the challenge of these challenges that white is presenting, and AlphaGo is rising to it and just dealing with it.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. So what advantages does the L9 provide? Is it to connect the black group on the right? No. L9, the idea of L9 is to say that if you wanted to give me this, now you're going to have to give me this. It's just making it even bigger, which makes it that much harder to sacrifice, makes it that much harder to deal with. So it's more of, rather than I'm just going to kill you straight up and make those points, I'm going to kill it even bigger and make make it 10 points larger than what it already was. So it's just making it even bigger of a problem for white, making it even harder to sacrifice. Just taking it to the next level. All right. So we're actually arriving to getting close to a very famous move. So white is pushing in, reduce it to make sure that area doesn't become too large. And white has to come up with something, because at this point it's actually getting quite difficult, because these 4 stones actually aren't dead yet for black. So if these stones on top are dead, you still have to come back and fix this, and then black will get Sente. So it's white is dying faster than black is, and the black position is also bigger than white's. So it's really, really difficult for white right now. So this is actually getting quite scary. But this is because Sedol kept pushing it, trying to find something, and black's just handling it super easily.
So you think black is a little bit better in this position?
Yes.
Like overall? Okay.
Yeah, black should be I want to say comfortably ahead, but that's not accurate, probably. Black is definitely controlling the game. White is making it super hard and annoying for black. So it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Because white is like pressuring black to the extreme. And if black just backs off, white's going to take the lead back.
Yeah.
So you have to keep up this like very strong play that you've been playing. But if you can keep it up, black does have the advantage.
Yeah. It looks to me like the center black has a lot, but it looks like white is getting a lot on the right. I mean, you told me that the 4 black stones at P10 aren't dead yet, and I guess I was kind of assuming they were, and white's getting a big chunk of the right.
They have to be if the 4 stones on top are dead.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make that exchange. But the fact is, black still has a move to run out, technically speaking.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So there's still questions about it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, white can't just kill it directly, because that's way too small. If we just play 1 for 2, this is so much bigger for black. So white's death is much bigger than black's death. So black doesn't care if those 4 stones die at the moment.
Yeah.
But if white gives black this area and doesn't kill those 4 stones, they can still come back to life.
Gotcha.
Which may be a huge disaster. So it's kind of this. It's always this balance, right?
Yeah.
But I would say black's probably up by several points. Let me actually see if there's a review at this stage. At this stage, it says black's up by 9.5.
Oh wow! I mean, that's pretty big for a pro level game.
Yeah, for a pro game, having 2 points or 3 points more than your opponent, is a huge lead.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 points is a huge lead. So 9 points, I think, is equivalent to you having, as a 14Q, probably having a 30-point lead.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't know. I could mess up a 30-point lead pretty quick.
Well, yeah, so could a pro.
Yeah.
But it's less likely that you'll lose that game.
Yeah.
If you have 30 points over your opponent.
Yeah.
And the fact that these two are more balanced, I guess, with their moves, like you have a bigger chance of making a mistake, right? Because it's hard to be consistent throughout the whole game. But these are like world-class players. They're pretty consistent with the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it's more like 30-40 points, like 30 points at your level, maybe even 40 points at your level. So even if you made like a small mistake or something, it's not going to change the result very easily.
Yeah.
It would take something big to change this result.
Yeah.
So 9.5 points. The pro's like, man, Lee Sedol's in trouble.
Yeah.
Lee Sedol's in a lot of trouble. And here's that cut that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, Lee Sedol's trying to combine weaknesses everywhere to come up with something.
Yeah.
And Black just kind of handling it. And now this is sort of like a move that makes your heart sink. Because you just played this cut to deal with it, and now he just kind of seals you in. He's like, okay, if you do nothing with this cut, all of this is mine. Like, I actually, not even that. It's just like, all of this is mine.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and this is kind of like, I'm going to defend while making all of this mine. If you can't come up with something, it's mine.
Yeah.
And it's just, and now it's like, what do you come up with? And actually, at this point, I think in all the commentary, in the like the AlphaGo commentary, like in the Korean ones, the English ones, they were trying desperately to come up with something for White, and no one could find anything. No one could find anything. Yeah, so White's checking the Aji, trying to come up with something. Yeah, that was an easy response. And this is the famous move 78.
So I remembered about this game that that AlphaGo. Oh, I'm mixed up because this is a Lee Sedol move. But I remembered that there was a move that AlphaGo made like the commentators and people laugh. Like they were like, "What? This is just like a completely foolish move, and it makes no sense for this like dominant AI to make a silly move." But I got mixed up. This is Lee Sedol's move. I guess maybe AlphaGo's bad move is next. But
spoiler alert. The commentators did consider this move. And this move is probably the most complex move you can come up with. There's a lot of variations in here, and it's way above my level.
Yeah, it's a really weird looking move.
Yeah, I highly encourage you to go through the pro commentaries about this move. I cannot even begin to explain this move. It's not as simple as it looks. It's actually really complex. So there's a lot of variations in here that are very confusing, but Black technically can handle it.
Yeah.
But this is like the most confusing path to activate all the Ajin here. I mean, there's cutting points here, there's a Nobi here, there's an Atari here, there's an Atari here, there's a push here, there's a peep here, there's a cut here, and then there's potential liberty problems here if you're not careful, and a cut here, plus maybe something here. There's a lot of little things.
Yeah.
And it's all about figuring out the perfect order to activate it. There's lots of little things. Little things. And it's about coming up with this insane little sequence to make it work. But if Black responds perfectly, technically there shouldn't be anything here. So technically speaking, this move, as from the pros research, and I think from research afterwards, this move technically doesn't work.
Yeah.
But this is his fighting spirit coming back and saying, I'm going to choose the most complex sequence. Right? He's been doing this all game.
Yeah.
And so we know back. And then play. And we kind of just gonna just walk through these next few moves. And here it becomes really obvious. He runs. Then Atari. Then he runs. Then Atari. And then he runs. And he shake. The problem with these moves, with him running right here, is it's dead. There's no way to save it. And then he killed himself bigger. There's literally no way to save this. This is literally losing territory right now because your opponent fixes on the outside, which means you lost an extra dead stone on the inside. So AlphaGo started crumbling and playing these really, really bad moves.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would play this move.
So S9 must be the move I'm thinking of, where people were like...
It's more than just one move. It's
Okay.
it's several moves in a row. The AI just went stupid,
Yeah.
like really, really stupid.
Yeah, and I remember in
Like,
the documentary they were saying like every now and then like this anomalous thing would happen. They I guess it's just a bug that they hadn't ironed out where it would just make moves that made absolutely no sense.
yeah,
And
like
they were worried that like it was just going to fall on its face and people were going to basically laugh at them. And it took
yeah,
4 games for it to finally show up. I mean, I guess luckily for them, they had
yeah,
already
right.
proven their point to this point in the match. But
Yeah, the Google team started freaking out right about now
yeah.
because it started picking like the worst moves. Like at this point, there's squeeze plays like this, and potential stuff down here. So you can get those Ataris. There's potential squeeze plays, right? And instead, he's like, no, I'm just gonna pass for -1 point
Yeah.
and let you fix that. Yeah, like I wouldn't do this. I don't think you would do this. Maybe you would do this. I don't know. Would you try to run with this? Would you think it's dead?
I don't think I would play us. I mean, it's easy to
Yeah.
say in hindsight, but
Yeah.
it
This is probably a double-digit Q move.
yeah.
It's really bad. Like this, you're talking top of the world players
Yeah.
playing a double-digit Q move,
Yeah.
not just once, but multiple times in a row.
Yeah, so there was something it didn't understand.
And then it just gets worse here, and just comes up with something stupid that doesn't even work. And they're like, what is going on? Because for like 5-6 moves in a row, AlphaGo just started going like playing like a double-digit Q. And the Google team's freaking out. Sedol is like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
what am I missing? Something's wrong.
Yeah.
But thankfully he like trusted himself. And I was able to punish him. It's pretty obvious that they're bad moves. But like you don't expect this top level AI that's been crushing you over and over to just play a double digit Q move without a good reason. You're just like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
I would be freaking out.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Something's missing. What am I not seeing? I have to trust myself and kill this. What am I missing? I would be freaking out, man. And the audience was going crazy. The commentators were questioning everything. Like, what is going on? And like it just keeps going. And they're like, what is happening? And he broke in. And everything's a disaster for Black now.
So now like all the white stones, up to like I don't know, at least like J11 or K13, like all of that's just gonna connect and be alive.
Well, these stones can save these, right? But that's not the important thing.
Yeah.
These are the important ones.
Oh, okay.
And now this entire black group
it's in trouble.
Completely surrounded by white.
Yeah.
It completely fell apart. That cut completely went horribly. Like, you're supposed to like fix something like this or something, right? I don't know of the exact sequence. There may be some Tsuji or something, right? But the idea is you're supposed to cut this off and kill these stones on the inside, and you're safe because white's trapped and can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. And then maybe this cut activates. Maybe there's an Atari and take that. But you're not gonna die. It's just there's a lot of reading in there. So you have to think what's the perfect move. Maybe there's here, maybe there's here. And so he fixes with the neighbor triangle. It's like, okay. And then he plays here and he jumps out here, even though there's an entire group that has to be saved on the left. Like, I don't even know what to do. Are you going to do this? Like, you see, even me trying to connect it, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
Are you going to let him run? What do you do? I mean, I would be playing on this side, something, maybe trying to attack these stones to get for defense, but your whole left side is now cut off from behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Like, this stone is now activated perfectly.
Gotcha.
And this is now completely sealing in this black group right here. It's completely cut off. There's no way to kill this cutting stone, as far as I know. And then white just activates it. Now you can't even push through because it's a tiger's mouth. You can't cut that off. So it's less about his 4 stones being dead now or his 5 stones being dead, and more about the fact that his gigantic territory now has reversed, and it's white's gigantic position attacking your dead stones that don't have any eyes.
Yeah.
It completely reversed. completely reversed. And now, and he did so in a way that killed himself.
Right, yeah.
And he kept playing moves that kept giving his opponent points. He probably lost like 5 points himself with his own moves. Instead of like getting tricked or something, he actually gave his opponent like 5 points and let his opponent cut him off and come back in this area. It's just an insane reversal here because the AI just broke. Yeah. And yeah, and someone in the comments is also mentioning AI. They ended up finding out the AI is actually very, very bad at this point. It's already been fixed now, but the AI back then, AlphaGo back then, was very bad at playing from behind. Because if you recall how the AI works, it thinks in terms of percentage points.
Right.
So it assumes your opponent plays perfectly. So in its mind, the best move or the most likely move to come back is just as good as another stupid move because both are percentage points of equal value.
Yeah.
Because neither one's supposed to win. Because it's your opponent's supposed to play perfect. So it's very easy for the AI at this stage to choose a stupid move as often as a good move.
Yeah.
Because the percentage points don't technically change. Because you're still likely to lose regardless if you play good moves or bad moves.
So maybe the maybe like the S9 T9 stuff, like Black realized that it was losing or lost, but it's like, well, if I keep running with this group, like maybe there's some tiny percentage chance that White will just like not continue chasing me and I'll somehow live.
Yeah.
Like, so, obviously that doesn't make any sense from a human perspective, but
yeah. So kind of what happened, I think if I understand this correctly, kind of what happened is this move, like we said, can be countered. And there's all kinds of moves in here to consider. So this move was kind of like a chance of 1 in 50 million. And so the AI wasn't expecting this move of all moves. It was expecting other moves.
Yeah.
So when he played this move, the AI kind of freaked out and went on a tangent branch that wasn't the best branch, fell behind, and then freaked out because it was behind and didn't know how to handle it. I think is kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Now, CataGo and like Leela and the new AlphaGo and stuff has kind of fixed these problems since, but it basically didn't know how to handle a losing position because it, I guess, didn't experience it very much.
Yeah.
And it just has these chances to pick 1 in like 50 million branches that doesn't work because it doesn't have a thing that says always choose the best branch. It has like weights and it has a chance to pick different weights, and it just for some reason against Sedol in this game, it picked a very low weight branch, and they don't really know why because AIs they do their thing.
Yeah.
So and for some reason the AI was like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna pick this low percentage point branch or low chance branch and see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of like rolls a dice between the highest weights, and it just, I guess, I don't know if you played D&D, but it rolled a 1.
Yeah. I have not. I've played it like a couple times, but I don't really.
Yeah, basically it rolled.
I get the reference though.
Yeah, it rolled a natural 1 and picked a bad branch.
Yeah.
And it didn't know what to do, and so now the game just has completely reversed, and now Black is in a lot of trouble. Yeah. And I'm not sure if anything more happens after this. You can see it's just trying stuff now. And I'm not sure what else happened after this at this point, I think. It's been a while since I've seen this.
Yeah.
But if we just watch like the flow of moves, you can see Black's trying stuff, and White's just very solidly keeping Black surrounded. And he's already made up for this top area, because remember, he can connect and save part of it. He's already made up for that top area over here. So now remember how he could have activated, the Black could have activated the 4 stones before?
Yeah, now that's not looking so good.
Now he can activate his.
Yeah.
And Black's dead. So now it's complete reversed scenario, which it's now more in White's favor than it was in Black's favor.
Yeah.
Because it's easier for White to handle than it was for Black, even though Black was handling it like perfectly and White was very far behind. Now it's just it's flipped but worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see he's actually activating it now, and It brings them back to life, and it just there's no chance after this, I believe. Yeah, we're just playing some normal endgame moves, and just he ended up saving all the stones. So Black lost the right side and got nothing on top.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Yeah, and here we're just playing endgame, and I don't know what AlphaGo is doing. Like, you see AlphaGo just breaking right now, and it's just like, what is going on? Yeah, this move. I mean, look at this one. This one is like a 20Q move, because if you play here, okay, I shouldn't say 20Q because there's a little more variations. But if you play here and I block and you connect, it's second line cut.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of this move? Are you playing something here? Are you trying to come up with a ko? What are you doing in this area? And then it just tanukis, and you're like, what was the point of that Hane? Because you potentially lost ko threats and stuff. Why are you doing it? It just, a lot of stuff just doesn't quite make sense. And this throw in, there's no point, there's no eye here that's going to be an issue. It's just doing some silly stuff, and it just falls apart. Let me actually look at the win rate graph.
Poor computer.
Yeah, so he was 9.5 points ahead, right?
Yeah.
I think at the peak of it, Black was 13.2 points ahead. So 13 points ahead. After the fall, where he plays the Atari, I don't know if you can remember it, the Atari with the tiger's mouth, just around the left side. The Atari 2 stones, after G11, after move 107.
Okay.
Yeah, after move 107, White is 10 points ahead.
Yeah.
And if we go further in the game, ended up being like White, like, let's see, after the end game stuff, White never really fell under 5 points. Again, it was like 7, 8, 10, 12, 7.
Yeah. I guess he was just playing solid.
After the end game, after the silly moves and stuff, it's like at 14, 15 points.
Damn.
And after the last move, it's 16.5 points. Like after K4, it's 16.5 points on White's favor.
Oh, this was the last move of the game.
Yeah, this is where AlphaGo resigned. 16
Interesting timing.
half points.
Yeah.
It was up by 13.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah. 30 points. 29.5 or something like that, but 30 points. Lee Sedol came back 30 points in this game by finding the 1 in 50 million branch that broke the AI.
And this is the last, at least to this point in time, this is the last time that AlphaGo AlphaZero has been beaten, right?
Yeah, AlphaGo's never been beaten besides this.
Yeah, because I guess AlphaGo technically was retired after this match, right?
Well, no, AlphaGo got an upgrade and went to the Alpha Master, and then played 50 games online against top pros.
I didn't know that.
And went 50-0.
Oh, wow.
And then also had like an official match against Kujay, won all of them there. So AlphaGo got an upgrade and just couldn't be defeated after that.
Yeah.
Now, I think someone in chat could correct me here. I think Lee Sedol did beat another AI before he, like, as a retirement match. I think he beat one more AI. It wasn't AlphaGo, it was some other AI. Oh yeah, after Alpha Master, there was AlphaZero. Sorry, he got 2 upgrades.
Yeah, I knew AlphaZero was something.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of Alpha Master.
Yeah, someone said it was Hadul or something like that. Yeah, Lee Sedol beat another AI after this, by the way.
Gotcha.
He's the only human in the world.
He's the AI conqueror.
That has beaten the AI.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that he beat a second one as his retirement match. I mean, it's probably a pity win or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I haven't actually looked at that one. Handel. I haven't actually looked at that one yet. That might be a good one to go over in the future as well.
Yeah.
I actually haven't looked at it yet. I just saw a report on it, and I was like, that's insane. But this one is the one that made history, right? This is where the AlphaGo was supposed to lose 5-0 and ended up conquering mankind. And Lee Sedol just barely pulled out a win for us, so we could have at least one glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
For mankind.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, in the documentary, they made like a huge... the documentary really turns from like oh, it's cool how Google built this AI to like, wow, I feel really bad for Lee Sedol, and it's great that he managed to win this game.
That's exactly what happened to the extreme.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, oh, Lee Sedol, it's gonna be easy win for him. People were taking bets. Oh, so many people probably lost so much money on those bets.
Yeah.
Like Korea, there's all kinds of there's a big gambling scene in Korea where like, oh, I bet like $100 Lee Sedol's gonna win 5-0, and this like they get score or whatever. Like, oh, $200 Lee Sedol's 4-1. Maybe AlphaGo wins 1, blah blah, and they're taking like higher risk bets and stuff. And so many people, I'm sure, lost money on those bets.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, can you imagine the guy who bet AlphaZero won like 4-1 or 5-0? He probably made
he probably made a ton of money.
Much money because the odds.
I'm sure the odds, would have been insane.
Were probably so bad for AlphaGo, and then AlphaGo's like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing to take from this game, I think the big really idea that you want to take isn't that move 78 was like the divine move or anything like that. They call it the divine move. It's a big like meme in the Go world.
Thanks to Hikaru.
Yeah. Move 78 was actually a mistake, but it pulled out a win not because it was the best move, but because Lee Sedol never gave up his fighting spirit.
Yeah.
He pressured and pressured and pressured, and he was able to win not because he was more skilled than AlphaGo, because he was not. He was definitely weaker than AlphaGo.
Yeah.
But his fighting spirit, his human fighting spirit, is what pulled out a single victory. And that's what's so epic about this game.
Yeah. There's a quote from it's one of the chess world champions. I want to say it's like Capablanca or Lasker maybe, but I'm probably misattributing the quote, but it's something to the effect of like, no matter how hopeless the situation seems, there always yet exists the possibility of, I can't remember the exact wording, but there always exists the possibility of victory or, coming back from defeat or something like that.
Yeah.
So it certainly seems apropos to this game. Sorry, I'm always tying things back to chess, but
no worries. I know you have a lot of chess viewers, and I want them to feel included too. So
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you think about it, a 1 in 50 million chance, that's practically a miracle, right?
Yeah.
But he forced a miracle to happen. He dug it out.
Right.
Like, it wasn't just some miracle that just happened because, he got lucky on this one. No, he dug and fought and resisted and came up with everything he could come up with and pushed himself to the limit to find this miracle. And a miracle is just because of lack of better word, right?
Yeah.
He forced this 1 in 50 million chance to happen because he fought like crazy for it.
And that's something that I'm sure like other DDKs can appreciate, because like, I mean, I know I've seen it a lot in my games where it's like one side is lost, but you keep playing and you try to make the game tricky, and then, at the DDK level, it happens all the time. Someone just, overlooks one little thing and then the game swings.
So one thing I sort of have, one thing I tell my students is there is a mentality that, maybe you should never resign. I don't think that's true. Mm-hmm. But if there's a single unfinished area on the board, finish that area.
Yeah.
Never resign with an unfinished section of the board.
At least see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Make them prove that they know what to do.
Yeah. If there's an unfinished section of the board, like if there's a complex area, you have to fight. Like in this one, I mean, it's almost resign worthy, but it's not settled yet.
Yeah.
Finish it. If your opponent does it, that's it. GG.
Yeah.
You got to respect your opponent. You should not resign once the game's finished, right? You should not resign when there's nothing left to try. But if there's something left to try, then go for the most powerful idea that you can come up with.
Yeah. And
just finish the area. And if your opponent deals with it, then congrats to them. They did it. They're strong. They were able to follow through. And this is why you shouldn't be mad at your opponents for settling areas in your games. Like, you have a lead, bring it home. That's a skill. That's a tactic. You have to be able to bring it home and deal with their fighting spirit. Yeah. But if it's like this at the end of the game and you're still playing it out, just resign.
Yeah,
There's nothing left except in game.
Yeah.
and Lee Sedol was like 14 points ahead, 13 points ahead, or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna blunder that.
A pro will not blunder that.
Yeah.
Like for double digit Q, if it's like less than 15 points, finish it. For single
Yeah.
digit Q, if it's less than actually no, for double digit Q is like less than 20 points, finish it. Single digit Q is less than 15 points, finish it. For Dom players, less than 10 points, finish it. For pros, less than 5 points, finish it. But for
Yeah.
13 and a half points and Yosei, probably you can resign. Unless
Yeah.
you're in Yoyomi and you don't have time to count and everything, and you want to like there's also you have to take the clock into consideration, the likelihood they'll make a mistake and stuff
Sure,
like that.
yeah.
But in a normal game, once every area is settled, if you're massively behind, just move on. Go play another game. Your opponent earned it. Let them have it.
Yeah.
You gotta respect your opponent. But if there's unsettled areas, make them work for it. If there's an unsettled section of the board, make them work for it.
Yeah.
Someone said as a DDK, I have very little idea how the score will be until the website tells me afterwards.
Yeah.
I have a video on how you can count as a double digit Q, but that would self-advertising right there. I think you can do position comparisons, and as long as it's arbitrarily close, if you don't know that your opponent's like way ahead, just play it out. That's fine. But you do need to learn how to at least compare sections of the board, even if you can't count. You can say, okay, draw a box here, draw a box here, draw a box here, and then draw a box for white here, and then draw a box for white here, and then take these dead zones right here and subtract that from blacks. Okay, that's the comparison. White has more.
Yeah. I often just play it out like regardless, unless I know I'm losing by like, some ungodly number, but I sort of just like finishing out all the in-game stuff, and I think it's like good practice for me.
I mean, it can be good practice. I mean, if you're learning and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of courtesies in Go though, so you do have to be wary of that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to waste your opponent's time. If there's a 99% chance they're gonna win, just give it to them.
Yeah.
Just let them have it. But if there's like only 80% chance they're gonna win, and I don't mean AI chance. That's not a good estimate for humans.
Right.
I mean, if you know that they're gonna win unless they miss an Atari, I'd probably just give it to them.
Yeah.
But like this board, I would say if you're a double digit Q, play it out. If you're a single digit Q, count it. You can count a single digit Q. You just have to learn how and practice. Yeah. A double digit Q, I think you can compare sections, and probably it looks close to a double digit Q. So I'd say play it out if you're a double digit Q. If you're a single digit Q, maybe you could play it out. Dons should not play this out though.
Yeah.
Like if a Don counted right here,
they'd be like, oh.
I think like right here I would count. Like I wouldn't do that, but right here I'd count and I'm like, do I really have a chance? Is there any all or nothing move I can come up with? If not, then I'm probably just gonna resign.
Yeah.
So yeah, this game is the fighting spirit of humanity. Pulled out a win.
It's nice to know that it still exists.
Yeah, someone's gonna have fighting spirit.
Yeah.
But it's so insane how this victory came about, not because of skill. Well, no, it was skill, because if it wasn't for the fact that he was as strong as he was, he would have had no chance.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The peak of humanity, what pushed us through perfection, what pushed us to beat perfection, I say perfection in quotation marks.
Yeah.
What pushed us to beat perfection was our human fighting spirit. And I think that's like a romantic story, I guess.
Very inspiring. Yeah.
Very cool idea. Someone said that don't most websites have a score estimator? As a Go instructor, I really, really hate the score estimator in the middle of playing a game. If you're kibitzing or something, fine, cool. But if you're playing the game, I think the score estimator is detrimental to your Go skill. Like you will not learn how to count. You will miss the chance to gain practice counting and judging. You won't be able to improve as quickly and improve your judgment and stuff. So don't ever use the score estimator while you're playing.
Yeah. I think it was a couple weeks ago that I lost a game because I was relying on the score estimator. Like it was.
Yeah, didn't I criticize you for that?
Well, yeah, you have before, and I've gotten to where I don't really use it. But in this particular game, like it was saying that one of my groups was dead, and I was like, what? I'm like 99% sure that it's alive. Like I was like certain it was alive, but I was like, well, the score estimator is calling it dead, so maybe I need to like, fix something in here. And then by like playing inside my group, I killed it. Like it wasn't dead until I tried to save it, and then it was dead.
That's funny.
So that was kind of when I like, okay, I guess Clossius does know what he's talking about. Maybe I
lesson learned.
Shouldn't be relying on this thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, Go is a game, and I want everyone to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're going to ask me, the Go instructor, if you should be using the score estimator while you play, I'm going to strongly tell you no.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy it and you don't want to learn how to count, you just enjoy playing and you just want to use score estimator because maybe you're limited on time, you don't really care about improving, you're just having fun, go for it. I don't care. Have fun as long as you're having fun. But if you want to improve, I highly discourage it.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned I only look at it when I try to resign. You need to learn how to resign without the score estimator. You need to learn, is this resign worthy or not? Is there a chance or not? You have to improve your judgment to say, is there a chance for me to win this game or not, regardless of the score estimator? Because you will not have a score estimator at a tournament.
Yeah.
Unless you're cheating, in which case, don't go. I don't know why people cheat and go. Like, that's a lie. In Asia, I understand for the pro exams and stuff, there was like cheaters and stuff. Yeah, for your life's work, I can understand someone being desperate enough to cheat.
Yeah.
But in like Europe and like North America and stuff, like the West, why on earth would you cheat in a tournament that you're literally losing money to play in? Yeah. I have never made money in a Go tournament. I've won prizes. I've gotten first and won like $100, but I paid more money in gas and hotel to go to the tournament to have fun and compete than I did getting prize money. I'm like, oh cool, I got my gas money back. That's my prize.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna make money in the West unless you're the top pros in like Europe and stuff. Unless you're the top pros, or unless you're in Asia competing for like title or something. There's literally no point right now to cheat. I mean, maybe in a decade or something there might be, but
yeah,
if you're cheating, why even waste time going to a tournament? I just don't understand it.
I don't get the mentality either, but of course it happens in everything, unfortunately. But
yeah, well, in chess, there's at least thousands of dollars on the line.
Sometimes, but I mean, people cheat online too when there's nothing on the line.
Online, people cheat just for bragging rights. Or that's just a thing. That's just gonna happen in any game. People were sandbagging and cheating before the AI came out. People would make fake accounts and sandbag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of serotonin, I guess. It's just a little bit good feeling to be able to feel strong and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I get that to an extent, but I have like a life philosophy that doesn't just apply to Go. It's like, do I really want to better myself by someone else's expense? I mean, like, do you really want to, like, this is like kind of like stealing and stuff. It kind of goes in that way. Do you really want to better your life at someone else's expense? Do you really want to make a lot of money by taking advantage of someone else? Is why I'm not going to be a multimillionaire ever, because I don't have the business practices to take advantage of customers.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I would rather be poor than take advantage of customers who are working at McDonald's and stuff to feed their family.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I don't have the mental capability of becoming a billionaire. I can't do it. I would be like, no, guys, I'll give you a discount. I have billions of dollars. You can have everything half off, feed your family. I would go broke so fast. I could not have $1 billion in my account without donating a lot to charity, giving everyone in America free Go boards. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I won't.
So
you're getting dangerously close to drawing me into a rant about certain things, so I won't succumb to that. But I'm in agreement with you.
Not get into politics.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Like, I understand why some people cheat. There is a brain chemical. There is some happiness, some serotonin. What is that? That's sort of a competitive spirit reward, I guess. You feel strong. You feel good about yourself. Winning. There's a lot of research behind winning and how it affects your brain, especially male brains. I believe that winning just really makes us happy, I guess.
Yeah.
So no, I get that people cheat. I discourage it. I wish people didn't. but cheating in a tournament, it's like, why are you going to pay money to cheat?
Yeah,
So
it is kind of
hopefully
weird.
in-person tournaments, there won't be cheating for another decade or so and go.
Yeah,
But it's going to happen. I know it.
yeah,
People are like, as soon as we like the more money we get and go, which we're trying to raise money, we're trying to get a pro system. The more, and we're trying to like, I'm a big advocate for creating jobs in the Go community and stuff. As soon as there's money, as soon as there are jobs, as soon as your livelihood is depending on it, you're gonna have people that get desperate. You're gonna have people
oh
that
yeah,
want
absolutely.
it and try to cheat others and take the money and whatever. So it's just gonna be a thing that you have to deal with. I
Yeah,
discourage it, but at the end of the day, I would try to say don't let it ruin your experience, because Go's a great game to let a few people ruin it. And
yeah,
I tell myself that a lot.
yeah.
A lot. I had a theme park ruined for me because of one person. My wife and I went to a theme park, and I was miserable because one person ruined everything for me. Just
Uh,
one selfish person,
yeah,
and I was so mad the rest of the day. I couldn't even enjoy the rides and stuff. I was so mad.
yeah. That's
And
unfortunate.
I think that's something I should probably, play cheaters and stuff and develop the skill, using Go as a medium to develop the skill to tolerate jerks.
Yeah,
That's a skill I need to develop.
that's one unintended benefit of Go, maybe.
Yeah, but Go. I don't know if I've dedicated my life to Go. I've dedicated 13 years of my life, and probably the next 50 to Go. And there's so many life lessons besides just a game that you can learn from Go. Uh,
Yeah,
and one of those is like, don't get tunnel vision, don't get angry about losing, learning how to accept losses, learning how to respect yourself, learning how to respect your opponent, learning how to respect the boundaries of what you're in, and being creative. There's so much more to the game than just the game.
yeah,
And I'm
absolutely.
sure with chess too,
Yeah,
there's like
definitely.
self disciplines that you can learn. There's dedication. There's commitments. There's the ability to like dedicate yourself to something that translates in other areas of your life so well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
there's many things you can learn from Go, and that's just another one, I guess. All right, well, that is it for the game. Do you have any more questions about the game?
No, I mean it was a really cool game. I mean it's nice to see, as you put it, the fighting spirit of humanity pull through for once against our machine overlords. But
Yeah,
but yeah, very fun game. Thank you for taking the time to put this together and to go over the game for
yeah.
me and my
So
fellow
while we're wrapping
DDK
it up,
fools.
I actually want to give a little shout out, because you said you've been streaming for a living and stuff too, right?
Well, I don't know about for a living, but yeah, it is my only source of income for the moment. Yeah.
So I wanted to do a little special to like help you out a little bit. If anyone this week donates 5 gift subs to your stream, I'll give them a private lesson and Go if they want to learn Go.
Ooh, wow.
So
Well,
this
thank you. That's
will
very
be for this
generous.
week. If you want to like let your chat know and stuff. If
Okay.
anyone gifts you 5 subs for this week, then I'll give them one private lessons. They have to message me on Discord, and you have to send me their username and stuff so I can
Yeah.
match it and stuff. But to support you for learning Go and streaming Go and being a streamer and stuff, and to help you out and stuff, I would like to offer that to you and your chat community.
Ah, well, that's very generous. Thank you. I would be happy to return the favor for chess. I mean, I'm not the chess instructor that you are a Go instructor, but if anyone is interested, I guess I'll give it my best shot. But yeah, I really appreciate that. So I do see someone in my chat asking who's on the voice call. This is Clossy, aka Clossius is his Twitch handle name. There's a link to his channel. He's a Go instructor and a Go streamer who's helped me out a lot trying to pick up this game. Those of you who came from the Kokiri chess raid, yeah, I'm a chess player who's been picking up Go. So yeah, Clossy's been a big help for me in the Go world.
So yeah, if anyone wants to support him learning Go or playing Go from my chat, then go give him a sub, give him a shout out, give him a follow. Yeah, so hopefully that will help you out at least a little bit. I know you're trying to reach 50 subs. So hopefully
that would be awesome.
hopefully that'll go a little way to helping you out.
Yeah.
But
CL
yeah,
should just link. If you've got the link, Calm Tilt, then you can post it. I don't have it on hand, but
here I'll how to play Go. This will be
let me. Or I think you should be permitted because you're a VIP. But let me make sure.
Yeah, I get banned in your chat. So
yeah,
often.
I know. Okay, there we go.
That should be my How to Play Go playlist for
Yeah.
those who want to learn how to play Go. And yeah, hit me up if you're ever interested. I also do game reviews like many days a week on my stream as well as these collaborations and YouTube. And I've already given you a shout out in my chat. Do you want to give it a shout out to anyone like on my YouTube that may watch this video?
I mean, I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I gave you a shout out in my chat as well. And
so for those on YouTube in the future that see this video, check out CL Smith. His name is right above my little video. That is his Twitch handle, and he is a chess player and Go player. 14Q at Go, and been learning Go for a few months now. And also a chess player. He does both chess and Go. What is your chess rating?
On Lichess, my ratings vary from like 2000 to like the 1700s. So slower time controls, classical 2000, rapid 1900, and then blitz and bullet is like 17 or 1800.
Gotcha.
So I'm like okay at chess.
So you're almost my level in chess that I am in Go, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. I think you're
like,
better at Go than I am at chess, but it's not like a huge disparity.
I think if I was to translate it, I'm like 2200 and Go using chess ratings or something like that. Someone explained to me, they said I'm either 2100 to 2300. That's where I'm at. So if you're 2000, then yeah, you're pretty close.
In slow chess, not in blitz, for those of you watching.
Yeah. I'm not great at blitz though. I don't play blitz. There's a reason I don't play blitz. I teach the basics in reading. I don't have any blitz habits.
Yeah.
I've trained myself to think, and I can't play fast because I'm constantly thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Someone said 6Q is 50 percentile, so 1500 on Lichess is 6Q.
Really, 6Q is 50 percentile? I thought 6Q would have been higher than that.
There's a lot of people that struggle to get to single digit Q and get past it. I think you got to realize that you've had a lot of people give you advice and stuff. Imagine having no teacher give you advice, or not knowing where to find the advice.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that actually don't know where to look or where to start. And
I guess that's why I was surprised. Like I would have thought 6Q would have been like 75th percentile.
No, there's a lot more ranks in Go.
Yeah. I guess that's true too.
So, and it's also, Go is getting a lot stronger in the last decade. I recall showing you and Akash what I was at 18Q.
Yeah.
You were at 18Q.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that like Go in the last 10 years has drastically gotten stronger.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
So there's double digit Qs that got stronger but lowered in rank because everyone passed them, because the majority of players passed them.
Yeah.
The amount of information on the internet has gotten a lot more.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that'll be it for my stream. Are you gonna keep streaming?
No, I think I'm actually gonna end things as well. I'm maybe back on later tonight to play some more Go. But I need to like
70 viewers.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
We should raid someone together and give them like 70 viewers.
Yeah, that totally works for me.
Self Atari is the only Go streamer.
Yeah, we can do Self Atari.
So, so let's go ahead and call it here. Everyone in chat, in both chats, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys found this review educational, helpful, and hopefully you were able to follow it along. And this will be posted on YouTube within the next week. So if you want to check that out, it's youtube.com/Clossius, same username everywhere. So yeah, thank you all so much for being a part of this. Thank you, CL, for the collaboration.
Yeah, thank you again so much for putting together a review. I know there's a lot of work that goes into it. So
yeah, for those of you who do like this series, CL and I are looking to potentially do this more in the future with maybe some more pro games, maybe Shizaku, or maybe I was thinking also like recently the European Pro League and stuff. There are pros that are happening right now in Europe, so that could be exciting as well. So we're looking to do more pro reviews for Q players in the future. So hopefully you guys will check that out in the future. Those are probably going to be on Fridays around this time, 3 p.m. CS Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
I can't promise every Friday because things do come up, but hopefully we'll have that on a regular schedule in the future for a while.
Yep.
Yep. And CL Smith's twitch.tv/CL Smith and twitch.tv/Clossius if you want to watch us stream normally. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time, and have fun in Self Atari's stream.
Yeah. All right. Same goes for me, guys. Y'all take care and see you next time. Bye.